In this video, we're going to talk about founders who don't let go. They refuse to let go of the baby, as I say, to let somebody else hold her for a while. And we're going to talk about the reasons why and what you, as a founder, if this is you, between $500,000 and $10 million, and you're pretty much still running the entire sales department, it's for you, and how you can help get yourself out of that and save yourself money, time, and your health. Let me start with a graphic. 72% of founders report a hit to their mental health. 72% and 36% name burnout is the main culprit to this. You don't want to let this happen to you, but as you see, it's very common. So let's explore some of the ways that we can identify and fix this before it happens to you. If you identify with that graphic or this sentence, I'm the bottleneck, I know every deal still needs me, then you're not alone. It's very, very common. But the question is, how do we stop? And you don't stop by working less. You stop by turning what's in your head into a repeatable sales system that somebody else can run. That's what's going to free you up. And aside from the physical and mental costs of being the bottleneck over a period of time, there's financial costs and costs to your company. As it turns out, if you're one of those founders who keeps so much in their head, 42%, if you're not turning things over to a system and to other people to run and you don't have it documented, 42% on average of that knowledge lives in one person's head. And that's extremely dangerous. And investors or people who want to buy your company know that. They'll pay 30 to 50% less for a company because they don't want to invest in a person. They want to invest in a company and a system. As I mentioned, other founders reported about 72% of them hit to their mental health, and it's probably connected to their physical health at that point. So you definitely don't want to get put in that position, because if you're burnt out, you're really no good to anybody at business or at home. This is a personal subject to me. I ran our business for 22 years, but about year 18, when I had been doing a lot of the selling, a lot of everything in the company by myself, I started burning out. And one morning I was laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, not wanting to go into the office. And one of my children walked in and said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm just taking a little slow today." He goes, "Get up, go to work. We need you. We're counting on you. We all want to go to college." That was a wake-up call. So there's a personal, financial, and a health cost to being the bottleneck in your company. So the question really becomes is, why are founders afraid to let someone else hold their baby? Well, from what I've seen and what I've experienced with other founders, it's nothing personal. They just want the most for their company, and they want the best, and they think that they're the only ones can do it. So it's a trust factor, and they're just very, very reluctant to let go. They think nobody can sell this product the way I do, and they're right, but you can't be everywhere all the time. You need to take that knowledge you have, as we discussed earlier in other videos, document how you made those sales, the first 10, 12 sales, and put it into a playbook so that someone else can then run with it. And then you can role play with them to make sure they understand it. And they'll probably never sell as good as you do, but they'll get pretty close, and they'll cover all the important points that a prospect needs to hear in order to get trust from them and buy from your company. Let's take a quick look at the financial costs of you holding the baby all to yourself. If you're running a $5 million company, your hourly wage is about $1,200. And if you're putting in 22 hours a week on average into the sales department, it's costing you almost $500,000 when it shouldn't have to. And your burnout risk is higher. So, and you miss revenue because if you're running it yourself, there's things where you don't have time to follow up like a normal account executive would, or a prospect for new business, and your calendar's just full, let alone all the other things you're in charge of, which product development and all the other departments, operations. So it's very expensive when you remain the bottleneck in your company. Now that we've identified the problem, let's move ahead and figure out how to get rid of it, and how you can move your company ahead and keep your health, keep your family, and keep your business. The first step is probably the most important. I call it record and codify. This is your sales playbook. It's you taking everything out of your head and documenting it so somebody else can run it. This is something you can do today, and you probably should do it today if you haven't done it. It's just a playbook, and if you need a template, I have one for you. Feel free to reach out. The next step is starting to hand off prospects to your salespeople. The easiest place to start is by handing off leads at the top of the funnel. If you get inbound leads, Those are the ones you want to hand off first to your salespeople. If you have relationships, if you get referrals, you want to hand those off to your salespeople as well. And there's a way to do that. I've worked with founders who said, well, I got the referral, they only want to talk to me. It's not really true. What they want is someone who can help them solve their problem. And the way founders can do this, they can take the meeting and bring in one of the account executives, one of their salespeople, and introduce them and say, listen, they're going to manage your account. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be aware of everything that's going on, but they can service you better than I can because they're always available. And I might not always be available. So don't be afraid to hand off. And indeed, that's true. You're going to be involved in the deals, and the salesperson may come back to you with a question or two, but that's where you start handing things off early on in the sales process. The next step is in discovery or even doing the demo. It's a crucial part of the sales process. So you want to make sure that your salespeople are covering everything that you covered to help close business. You should have a documented process for how to go ahead and run a discovery call and run a demo. There's articles on my website that you can look at and read on how to run a discovery call, how to run a second discovery call, and how to turn over a referral. Make sure your salespeople run the demo for you first. Coach them, help them so they can do it on their own. And then when they do that, they can record their demos and you can review them and coach them to where you'll gain confidence and know that they can get the job done. Maybe not as great as you, but pretty well. And the last thing that you want to turn over to your salespeople is when you've already gone through a lot of the sales process and it's time for the close. You want to be there for that. If you haven't introduced them, and don't introduce them at the very end. That can be dangerous. And if you do, stay with the account because it's kind of too late at that point. That's why you want to start at the top of the funnel. When the referral first comes in or when the leads come in. By the time it gets to the close, it's a little too late to extract yourself from the process. So you want to be there, but include the salesperson, the account executive, because there's going to be a lot of details after the deal closes, such as onboarding your customers and just making sure that they're successful. At the end of the day, business is about making profits. It's not just about how you lose money and how you may lose and damage your health. It's about how much more your company can make and how much it's going to be worth if you built a system underneath it. In one survey, businesses with a repeatable sales system sell at a 71% premium on average over businesses that don't. So you're going to be, if you have a profitable business with a defined sales process, sales system, sales playbook, everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing, your business is going to sell for a much higher premium. You're not losing control. You're taking a business, an asset, you with your name on it, and turning it into something that people will actually buy, a real asset, not just a person. This is how buyers rate the business. They put in what's called a founder dependency discount. And as you can see here, we've got same revenue, but two different price tags. What the buyer pays turns on one thing. Can the company sell without you in the room? I would screenshot this particular page and keep it handy when you're reluctant to put together your sales playbook, your processes, your system. Start to hand things over to your salespeople. Start to hand them the baby. They won't drop it as long as you coach them along the way. Hopefully I've outlined the problem, what you can do to solve it, and why it's so important financially and for your family, for your health, psychologically, everything. There's a million reasons why you can't run that business by yourself forever if you want to scale it and grow it. I've seen this firsthand and I've lived it. So reach out if I can be of help to you. I hope this video was informative and helpful for you. And if you find yourself, you see yourself in any of these scenarios, know this, you're not alone. So many founders go through it, but there's a way out, and I hope you find it.